Okay, we're in Hot Springs. I'm at another thru hiker. Give me your name and your trail name.
David Bennett, Latha, Kansas, trail name Kansas.
Kansas. Okay, you gave yourself that name, I'm assuming?
No, I didn't. I did a 3-day shakedown hike in Virginia at the first 3 or 4 days of the month, and I met a couple at a hostel and hiked with them for 15 miles, and that's kind of what they called me. And I called them a couple days later, and she didn't remember my real name, but she remembered the trail name.
Kansas. Okay.
So that's kind of why I have it.
There's another guy named Kansas out here this year.
Really?
Yeah. He's
Younger kid.
he's a younger guy, and he's way, way north. I mean, like 1,600 mile mark I'm talking about. I believe,
Already?
Yeah, I think so. Oh, yeah. ER, early riser, is almost that high. And, yeah, some of them we filmed early in February are doing 25, 28 mile averages. Yeah, but, you know, it takes all kinds to be out here.
Yeah.
When did you decide you were going to thru hike the Appalachian Trail?
Probably last fall. It was either going to be a bike ride across the United States, which I've done before, but I was going to do again and do a northern route, or do this. And the buddy I was going to ride bikes with said he wasn't ready, so I chose to do this instead.
Okay, well that's real interesting. I'm glad you mentioned that because you've ridden a bike across the United States.
I have.
What's the difference of walking the Appalachian Trail and riding a bike across the United
The
States?
difference is when you're riding the bike, you normally have access to water and food within 20, 30 miles of towns. Here, you've got to pre-plan. The logistics of this is a lot more difficult with getting food. How much food do I need? Where the drops are? Where can I get that? The water's not an issue, but the food is. That's the big difference. The logistics are a lot more difficult.
What about the physical demand of the two?
So far they're pretty similar. It took about a week on the bike to get acclimated, and then after that it was no big deal. This was probably about the same way. A week, 10 days, and now you're in the groove, or you know what your routine is.
I talked to several marathon runners, long distance runners, or long bike people do 80-mile rides a day or stuff. And they told me, I'll never forget it, they told me the biggest difference is they are as tired at the end of the day doing what they did then, but the problem is they were going to a bed or a place to eat when they got through this day, but on the Appalachian Trail, you're just getting out and doing it again.
That's not a bad case. We camped out 6 times on the bike ride because there was no place else to stay. We had tents and sleeping bags. But there, yeah, you had much more access to hotel rooms. Here it's you're camping virtually 3 or 4 nights a week.
What luxury do you miss the most?
Potato chips.
Okay, that's interesting. Not a bathroom and not a bed.
Well, there's been the privies. They're not great, but it's not. No, some of the stuff.
The privies is almost last on everybody's list when I ask that question. I keep asking people, I said, is the privy not important? And they said, well, yeah, it's important, but I learned how to do that pretty quick.
Yeah, no, that's not.
What's your family think about you being out here?
Well, they let me go. So,
okay.
And my wife, she's very supportive. She sends me stuff when I need it, and she'll send me a little good luck card.
Will she come out? Will she come out and see you anywhere?
She's not
between?
planning on it. She
Nowhere.
might later, but
Nowhere.
She's not, right now, not planning on it.
Okay. What would you think the highest wind that you've hiked in?
We did that a couple days ago, and we were estimating it to be 40, maybe more. There was the weather report I saw was consistent winds 30 to 45 with peak gusts to 60. But we were probably 40-mile-an-hour winds we estimated on the max peak.
What about days of rain? How many days have you had to hike in the rain? Do you know?
One full day, and then maybe a couple partial days.
Okay. Are you is there a way for you to figure out how I can not hike in the rain as much? Like maybe stay in a shelter early?
I watched the weather report, and if it was going to be thunderstorms, I'd probably stop at a shelter. But so far, it's been light rain.
Okay.
It hasn't been anything where I would stop. I've heard some thunder in the background,
sure,
but no lightning strikes anywhere close. So no, so far it's been okay.
And when did you hike into Hot Springs?
Last night.
Last night. So did you eat here at the restaurant last night?
Oh yeah.
And you ate here again this morning?
Oh yeah,
This
well, I
is
think it's the only
probably
place
the
in
most-
town, isn't it?
Well, one of the most famous places, but yet it's almost the only place. But man, I appreciate you taking time this morning. And do you want to shout out to anybody out there, or any words of encouragement for those that are going to try to do it next year or the year after?
Just stay with it. I mean, I've only been out here a little over 2 weeks, so it hasn't gotten to the point where it's tedious, but I'm anticipating after 3 or 4 months, maybe being tedious, but
Okay.
maybe not.
Thank you, Kansas, and God bless every step you take between here and Katahdin.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we're still here in Hot Springs, actually still at the Rocky Smoky Mountain Diner here. Just finished eating breakfast. Give us your name and your trail name.
My name is Jeff Carr, and my trail name is Tripod,
Spell it Tripod.
P-O-D.
How'd you get that name?
Well, that name came from primarily a group called the Cursillo movement, where they have a symbol that is an actual tripod, 3 different legs, one being prayer to keep us close to Christ, second being study of the Word, study of the church, study of just the history of the church, different aspects of the church, and the third being action, our Christian action, things we do that can do better for others.
Right.
So, and the tripod is actually one of the most stable structures because it won't rock, it doesn't tip over. Second, I've got several meetings.
Go ahead.
Second meeting is my dad used to be a surveyor, so he carried a tripod through the woods everywhere he went, and it was always get away from the tripod. That was his orientation point. So I oriented him from the tripod, just knowing exactly where you are, kind of puts us on a path, just like we're on this trail. So I thought that was kind of a nice, appropriate thing. The third thing is that if you take tripod and you switch it around the syllables, you get odd trip.
Okay.
And this is an odd trip. So I thought that was all neat.
Very cool. Very cool. How long did it take you to kind of put those thoughts, or did you even have all that together before you ever started hiking?
Probably about a week before.
Oh, that close. Okay.
Yeah.
What made this year be the year that you?
I retired in February of this year.
Okay.
And my plan, really, since I was in high school, was to retire before I was 50 and hike the Appalachian Trail.
Okay. What type of work?
I worked for Georgia Pacific.
/
Coke Industries
Yeah.
in their security department. So I had multiple experiences of security, and my background's actually forestry. I'm a forester.
Wow.
So I started out cruising timber for Georgia Pacific, making plywood, making paper, all the products everybody wants.
Yeah. My brother-in-law, my wife's brother, he cruised timber for a living, and then a lot of Georgia Pacific land down in Louisiana where we're from.
Absolutely, yes.
And you are from?
Atlanta. Well, originally from Charleston, West Virginia,
Okay.
and by way currently of Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Now, I talked to you inside the restaurant just for a minute. I usually don't talk a lot because I like it to be spontaneous, but you told me about a cause.
Yes.
Let's let this guy with this garbage can go by to make sure they can hear what you're about to say. Tell us about the cause that you really want to bring focus to.
All right. Well, now, one of the things I've read about and learned about was that people generally, when they get about halfway and they get trudging through Virginia, they start thinking to themselves, what in the heck am I doing out here? And a lot of people give up, but it's just because they say, hey, I don't have to be here. I don't have to do this. So my brother suggested, he said, hey, do a fundraiser. And I thought, that's a great idea. What I need to do is do something to help motivate me, because if I lock myself in, not only to me, but to a bunch of other people, then I'll get motivated and I'll have to finish. So it's kind of like a motivator. So what I did is I looked around at a few things, and one that caught my eye was the fact that there are communities that are surviving in rural areas that have no water supply. And there's a particular group out of Atlanta that goes into the country of Nicaragua, and they will drill water wells and provide water to communities where they currently have to walk considerable distance to get their water from a contaminated stream or source, many times out of a dump, drainage. They carry that back to their homes to cook with, to clean with, and when the people survive on that, what happens is they don't drink as much water as they need. They wind up dying. Number one cause of death in Nicaragua, these communities, is kidney disease, which is 100% preventable. So my decision was to go and create a fundraiser to raise money to put a well into Nicaragua. So got a bunch of friends and family that have supported me per mile, and the trick is, I've told them, I said, sponsor me per mile, not just a one-time fee, because one of the fine prints on the bottom of the thing says if I don't make it, they're paying them back.
Ooh.
So we got to give the money back if I don't make it.
Ooh,
so
that's a lot of pressure.
It is, and
That's
you know
a lot
what?
of pressure.
That pressure is good, because that pressure causes me not only to think about what I'm doing, but think about somebody else
That you're
and
affecting.
do this. Not necessarily take a 6-month hiatus or 5 month or
Right.
4 month for a selfish reason, but it's actually turns it to doing a good for somebody else that really doesn't have any need or not any desire to ask for it, and so we can do something good.
So tell me now, make sure that they understand how they go to it to get to the point that they can donate.
Okay, so a theme, I came up with a good theme. It's called I Thirst. Now, if you know the scripture of the John chapter 19, verse 46, Christ said on the cross, I thirst. And I thought that was appropriate because we do thirst. Hey, out here on this trail, we thirst.
Big time.
And so what we did is I teamed up with a group called Amigos for Christ. And you can go to the Amigos for Christ and do a / it's actually amigosforchrist.org / I thirst, one word, no spaces. And it'll pop up a page, tell a little background story and give some details.
Okay, so that's good. So they can
And I'd challenge anybody to pledge that. You can pledge a penny a mile. It's $22. And I'd challenge anybody to do that, because I have yet to get somebody that I do not know to sponsor me for anything. $1, $2. I have yet, but I'd like to do that because I'd like to know names. I'd also like to know that the message reached somebody that is outside of my family, outside of my friends, that might just have a thought to say, hey, let's do something good for these folks. And
then when I put this up on the Appalachian Trail Thru Hikers Class 2017,
yes.
When you get somewhere up the road, and maybe we'll exchange phone numbers or something, I'll tell you which one you're on, then you can go in there maybe and put a footnote under that one, and we can kind of double dip there a little bit. And man, you got a great story. You have got a great story. You look like you're enjoying yourself.
I am, yeah.
And anything else that you might want to encourage people as far as if they're going to thru hike next year?
Yeah, just pre-plan a little bit and do some talking to people that have done it before, because everybody that's hiked the trail for a month or 2 months has some knowledge that they could share with you, because it's easy. Thinking about what you're wearing on your feet, thinking about your backpack, thinking about what you're carrying with you to make it a better, more enjoyable experience. I've seen people with way too heavy packs. Well, a heavy pack might give you a chair and some other things that you might think are kind of essential or kind of good for you, but that extra pressure on your feet can really tear you up. The other thing is your expectations. Maybe get out and do a little walking up hills, not just walking on flat, but take your 12-mile hikes. I was surprised. My probably biggest surprise is I walked for 15 miles and I thought, I'm just walking. You walk 15 miles with a backpack on your back, your feet start hurting, and you're like, it really is a surprise. So go out, do a little bit of pre-hiking, do a little bit of looking around and talking to folks just to get some ideas and get some good advice, and you'll learn a ton, and it'll make your whole trip more enjoyable.
Well, I like that tripod deal. I'm gonna go back and look at this several times, I'm sure, and I know a lot of people out there is going to enjoy the way you told that and the challenges put out there to everybody out here on YouTube. Again, you've got look like turning out to be a decent day right now. I see some blue skies over us, so
I like blue.
You like blue? I don't blame you. I like it too. Again, God bless every step you take between here and Katahdin, and me and you'll maybe stay in touch, and maybe we'll catch you up the road later and see how your hike's going, and also how that challenge is going.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Here we are at Uncle Johnny's, and we just got two more thru hikers that just walked out of the woods, it seems like. Give us your trail name.
Ginger.
I'm Fat Boy,
Fat Boy, and spells just like it sounds.
just like the Harley.
Okay, and
They're
your
on trail journals.
okay,
We are,
There
yeah.
you go.
and your name?
I'm Ginger.
Ginger.
Yes, for the hair.
And the reason I do that is because I put it under your face when you, so we can keep up with everybody.
Okay.
When did y'all start?
Early March.
Early March, and you're married.
Yes.
Been married how many years?
3.
3.
Almost. It'll be
Almost.
3 on the trail.
3 on the 4th of July.
Same.
This is our honeymoon.
Hey, the guys I just interviewed, the young couple, they've been married 3 years almost now.
Wow.
Isn't this amazing?
Yeah.
It's amazing. What's been so much? What's the best thing that's happened out on the trail to you?
We still love each other.
Hey,
And we
that's
like
big.
each other.
That's big. Have you?
That's what the last couple
Really?
said. Yeah.
Yeah.
I found out how blessed I am
Yeah, well, that's
because
good.
I can spend all day, every day with my best friend.
Man, that's fantastic. That is fantastic. How long had y'all been planning on doing it?
Probably a little over 2 years. Not
Something
not
like
a
that.
lifetime like a
She's
lot
the
of people.
planner. I'm
You just following along?
No, he's got
I'm
like
support.
30 books. No.
Now, what about the channel? You're on, what'd you say, Trail Journals?
.com.
Yeah, trailjournals.com, Fat Boy and Ginger.
Fat Boy and Ginger.
I've read their blog.
Sherry's been reading most of the blogs, I believe,
Aw,
sitting
thank
here.
you.
She thru hiked in 214.
Okay.
She's my wife.
Oh,
And it's
okay.
been a little more than 3 years.
How many has it been?
Well, we'll have met 40 years ago in August.
Okay.
And she's still hanging around, so it's working.
That's great.
And
you like and love each other.
what about siblings or friends and relatives? What do they think about y'all out here doing this?
Usually people ask if we're afraid of bears or are carrying weapons, but they're following what we write a lot. And
How is on the journal? That's hard to do in that while you're out here, isn't it?
we have to
Keeping
wait
up
till
with
we
it?
get into a town and do
Yeah.
it for a public library. So we've been really grateful for public libraries.
And how often have you been able to post? Do you know?
Sometimes it's over a week, and then we do, a week's worth. It's we don't have Verizon, so we can't post very often.
I've got AT&T, so I understand. Do you have a time frame that you want to be through for anything? You just
No, I'm more into enjoying each day instead of having a defined schedule. I worked for a long time and had a schedule and other people telling me where I needed to be and when I needed to be there, and that's not why I'm out here. I don't really care how far I go or how fast I go, but I take a lot of pictures of beautiful things that I've never seen anywhere else.
how did you get your trail name?
I gave it to myself. I've been riding a Harley Fat Boy for a long time.
Okay, cool. Because that's interesting. Did you give yourself?
He named me.
He named you. Okay.
It's the
The
hair.
hair.
Yeah. Good deal. Good deal. Now, is there anything behind us, south of us, that you would want to encourage somebody to stay at a place or do if they're looking at this and thinking about thru hiking next year?
South. Misty
Well-
Mountain Cottage is an inn.
Where's that?
Blairsville,
Blairsville,
Georgia.
Georgia.
Blairsville. Okay, that's cool. Okay,
Yeah, it's
that's
run by a family, and they've put a lot of heart into it.
And Nantahala Mountain Lodge. Wiggy and Maggie
Oh, we know one very
are
well.
amazing.
Yeah. We know them very well.
Maggie runs that place with an iron fist, and it's
And
It's all
Wiggy, and Wiggy
ship-shape.
listens to her. Too.
yes, he's a smart man.
And
Yes, he is.
entertains
He's
everyone.
very good friends of ours.
Yes.
Thank y'all guys for taking a minute while you, just as soon as you walked out of the woods, I caught you. And God bless every step you take between here and Katahdin.
Thank you very much.